Hey there, YouTube. I've seen a lot of talk about and questions about how to mount an RC4 drive BLAZER body on an Scx10 chassis. I started this project back in February. I scoured the internet, YouTube, forums. I came across bits and pieces of how other people did their trucks. I pieced mine together, how I wanted it. A lot of people would, chop up the body, use the stock Scx10 2 shocks and mounts in the back, poke holes in the hood, just kind of mangle the body a little bit, and I didn't want to go that route to cover up with scale accessories and whatnot. I wanted it to look clean. I bought this body and I didn't want to, chop it up to make it fit a chassis. So all the modifications are actually to the chassis itself. So I want to go over, things that I did and just do an overview, let you guys know what's going on. So I was running higher axes at first, and they were rubbing in the fender wells. Got a trade deal on some Pitbull Bravens, and I'm not sure what wheels these are. Somebody said they were RC4 drive, but I couldn't find anything on their website that looked like it. But yeah, that's full flex right there. No rubbage, not hitting in the back. So, full interior, Scx10 2. Pop the hood. These are GRC inner fenders, I believe, from Hobby Mart. GRC, and it's the inner fenders. If I can get some light on it, see if this will work. There we go. I did have to modify them right there to fit the firewall of the BLAZER body. And I had to modify the front to fit the lights behind there, but I didn't have to chop that up too much. The biggest thing that I didn't like about people running on their trucks was they wanted to chop the bed up to fit the shocks. I didn't want to do that, and as you can see, it's nice and clean back there. You can actually see my transmission right there between the center console. Nice and clean. Now what I did there was run, let's see if I can get, alright, So here we got Losi Mini 8 shocks. I am not 100% sure if those are the front of the rears anymore. I ordered them. I think they were the 62 millimeter shocks, and I did have them mounted on the chassis in a forward position, like right there. But I was coming up with a way, because I wanted them more vertical, that if you look, I am using some Scx10 shock mount, like one of those lift kit type of deals. One of those lift kit kind of deals there. I got that mounted to the chassis with the rear shock mounted on that, and it fits perfectly. Perfect. Like, the body sits right down on top of them, and it's level all the way across. The transmission, as you can see, is, this started out as the Scx10 2 honcho, and that is the honcho transmission, the all gray one. It's all plastic. What I did was basically modify the case. All the plastic that was on top, I chopped off with the Dremel tool. So I brought it down to just the case itself that are around the gears. And right here, if you can see, right behind the spur gear and the spur gear plate, I put a bearing. I put a bearing right behind the spur gear plate to bring that spur gear out to clear my interior. That way I didn't have to chop up the interior too much. To mount the actual body, I got this bracket. Now on eBay there is a cheap mount that looks like this, and I bought it and tried to install it exactly how it is, and the body was actually sitting about 6 millimeters back on the, using the factory holes. It was sitting about 6 millimeters back. So I had this 3 millimeter thick aluminum plate that I traced that bracket onto, and then relocated the holes 6 millimeters forward, so that way it would bring the body back and sit flush and hit the right wheelbase. The links on this are a local guy here in Michigan. Stainless steel, or 4x4 stainless steel performance, I believe, is the website. 11.3 millimeter or 11.3 0.3 inch wheelbase, all stainless steel links that I had him make up for me for this build. It was by request. He does not sell them on his page. At the last I knew, he did not. I'm sure if you message him, he could probably set you up. Electronics are mounted on the driver's side. I have my receiver right underneath the driver's seat of the interior. And then you can see the motor, which I'm running a 35 turn Gould RC, 35 turn Gould RC motor. And on the passenger side, I got my ESC and my BEC mounted right underneath the passenger side seat. And I do have the RC4WD drive light kit installed on all the lights. This was a trial and error build, especially with the transmission, trying to get it fit between the center console of the interior without chopping anything up. And I get nothing but compliments on it. You can just barely see the transmission or the spur gear coming out right by the center console. Full interior, you got all this room. The body's not hacked up. I know there are a couple of companies. Dinky RC for one makes a body mount kit. I just found that out yesterday for a Mojave body and BLAZER body. I did message him or them to find out how far their mount will stick the body above the chassis, and he said it was roughly about a quarter inch above the chassis. Well, I wanted this to sit as low as possible because I already knew this was going to be a heavy truck, and if you can see, my body mounts pretty much flush with the top of the chassis. I have to take that bracket off to get to those screws because the chassis is in the way. So I just hope you know, this helps anybody looking to put the RC4WD drive BLAZER body on an Scx10 2. It took me roughly 6 months, 5 to 6 months to finally get it mounted properly, and I am satisfied with the results. I am getting different foams for these tires because when it's sitting here it looks like it's got flat tires. So I got some crawler innovation wild deuces on the way, that'll hopefully take care of that. There's a lot of roll. There's a lot of roll on these tires. I mean, these are squishy tires. I mean, I don't know if the foams are breaking down or whatnot, but when you go to turn, that wants to just bite right in, you know. So hopefully some different foams will definitely clear that up. Scale accessories, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I have definitely been looking into some of the guys that have the 3D printed cab back and possibly making this a pickup. Or I might have to do some styrene work, because I do not want to cut the body like everybody does. I'm not gonna do that. Not to this truck. Now if I had a plain gray one and it was just the body, the shell with nothing else, then I might be able to, you know, I might convince myself to be able to chop that up. But on this one, absolutely not. Let me go grab a battery and I'll show this all lit up. I'll be back. Alright, we're back. Got the battery in. Lights are all lit up. Once this body came out, I knew I absolutely had to have it. And I wanted it on an Scx10 chassis, Scx10 2 chassis. I am not a big fan of the leaf sprung Trailfinder 2 trucks. I mean, they're good trucks, but it's just not what I wanted. So I researched and developed and executed the best I could, and I think it turned out pretty good. I think it's got the right stance. I think my shocks need a little bit of oil. Axial shocks. But I also had to modify the battery tray. I had to chop off all the sides of them, like right in here, but back behind the battery strap. The battery strap tabs are intact, but all the plastic behind it had to be chopped off to clear the interior. Had to be chopped off to clear the interior. And on this one, I'm running 1500 milliamp 3S LiPo. Fits down in there just perfect. I might be able to fit a 2200. I still got some room there to fit a bigger battery. Savox 0231 waterproof servo. Some people like them, some people hate them. I like them. In an Scx10, anything bigger than they tend to break the gears inside. But yeah, all stainless steel links up front. I'll try to put a link to everything that I used in the description of this video, so people can maybe replicate or, you know, come up with their own ideas. But this is my introduction to my YouTube channel. I'm going to try to make some other videos about my other trucks. I got a couple of them over there. So, let me know what you think. I know a lot of people have been trying to figure out how to mount this, so I figure I would go through and make a video. Thanks.